Ancient script seems to indicate that the Nephilim once inhabited the earth. Now, what are the Nephilim? It's a Hebrew word. This mysterious beings, or Hebrew in the people in the Hebrew Bible who are large and strong. The word Nephilim is loosely translated as giants in some translation of the Hebrew Bible, but left untranslated in others. Some traditional Jewish explanations interpret them as fallen angels. That is, in the Abrahamic religion, fallen angels are angels who were expelled from heaven. The literal term fallen angel appears neither in the Bible nor the Abrahamic scripture, but is used to describe angels cast out of heaven or angels who sinned. Such angels often tempted humans to sin as well. Now, the main reference to them is in Genesis, but the passage is ambiguous and the identity of Nephilim is disputed. According to Numbers 13:33, and they later inhabited Canaan at the time of the Israel conquest of Canaan. And that's when we also know in the book of Genesis, when the spies from the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 men, went to see what was going on in the promised land, they saw that it was full of giants. So a similar identical biblical Hebrew term read as Nephilim. The word fallen by others appears as Ezekiel 32:27. That's just a small introduction of what the Nephilim were. Now, the Qumran Caves in the West Bank have been considered a veritable treasure trove for historians, particularly those specializing in ancient literature and mythology. And also we know the book of Enoch talks about these fallen angels as well. Now, the Qumran scrolls, 60 years ago, archaeologists unearthed an ancient book in the caves, which is referred to as the Book of Giants. And this text gives the details about an ancient race of otherworldly creatures who existed and eventually died out on Earth. It's this current time. There is very little that historians can deduce about the authorship of the Book of Giants, but it's been noted that there are remarkable crossovers between this mysterious text and other known ancient manuscripts such as the Mesopotamian Epic of Gilgamesh and the apocryphal Book of Enoch. And we also know from the Old Testament that the Philistines were giant. One of them was the well-known Goliath and his brothers, 6 fingers on each hand, 6 toes on each foot. The Philistines were actually giants from ancient Crete, of the southernmost island of Greece. Okay, so this was also well known that a lot of the Trojan heroes of the Trojan War were giants. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. Now, according to the Mesopotamian Epic of Gilgamesh and the apocryphal Book of Enoch, Mahweh mounted up in the air like strong winds and flew with his hands like eagles. He left behind the inhabited world, passed over desolation, the great desert, and Enoch saw him and hailed him, and Mahweh said to him, "Hither and thither a second time to Mahweh. The giants await your words, and all the monsters of the earth. If has been carried from the days of there, and they would be added, we would know from you their meaning, 200 trees that from heaven came down." Now, the Book of Giants describes the creatures as 200 trees from heaven, quote unquote, which came down and populated the planet Earth. They are described as a corrupt and debased species, prone to hideous acts of violence and unnatural acts with animals and human beings. These are the fallen angels of Nephilim, or some people call them the Anunnaki. After a period of years, one of the giants, Mahweh, started to experience prophetic dreams, and these dreams saw a tablet bearing the names of everyone on earth being submerged beneath the water. When the tablet rose again, all but 3 of the names had been washed away by the waves. This particular passage has been interpreted as referring to the survival of Noah and his family after the great flood. It was when Mahweh shared these visions with his fellow giants that they realized the futility of attempting to resist the forces of heaven. So they decided to seek out Enoch, who was, of course, beloved to God. He walked with God. They decided to seek out Enoch and ask him to plead to God on their behalf. Enoch is an ancient Jewish mythological figure believed to be the great-great-grandfather of Noah. He has a reference in the book of Genesis where he is described as having a special personal relationship with God. He lived for an astonishing 365 years before simply disappearing with God one day. Enoch interceded on behalf of these giants, Nephilim, fallen angels, and delivered a damning judgment to them from God. However, he promised them that there was some hope for their redemption. It's assumed that the giants were washed away with the great flood that devastated the world several generations after that. What the race did in the interim is still a matter of great mystery. Another mystery is what this giant race could have been. The fact that they are described as coming down from heaven strongly suggests that they were of an extraterrestrial origin, which has led some to speculate that these quote-unquote giants may have been the heavily mythological race of ancient aliens called the Nephilim. The Book of Giants explains how the Nephilim caused chaos on earth and changed everything during that time. A summary statement of the descent of the wicked angels, bringing both knowledge and havoc compared to Genesis 6, verse 1 to 2 and 4. Fragment Qumran 123, they knew the secrets. Sign was great in the earth, and they killed man, and they begat giants. The angels exploit the fruitfulness of the earth. 4Q 531, fragment 3:2. Everything that the earth produced, the great fish, the sky with all that grew, fruit of the earth and all kinds of grain, and all the trees, beasts and reptiles, creeping things of the earth, and they observed all, everything harsh deed and utterance, male and female, and among humans. 200 angels chose animals on which to perform unnatural acts, including presumably humans. 1Q23, fragment 1 and 6, 200 donkeys, 200 asses, 200 rams of the flock, 200 goats, 200 beasts of the field, from every animal, from every bird, for miscegenation. The outcome of the demonic corruption was violence, perversion, and a brood of monstrous beings. Compare Genesis 6:4. And then we have fragment 4Q 531, fragment 2. They defiled, they begot giants and monsters, they begot, and behold, all the earth was corrupted with its blood in the hand of giants which did not suffice for them, and they were seeking to devour many. The monsters attacked it. Fragment 4Q 532, column 2. Fragments, flesh, monsters, they would arise, lacking in true knowledge because the earth grew corrupt. Mighty, they were considered from the angels upon. In the end, it will perish and die. They cause great corruption in the earth. The giants begin to be troubled by a series of dreams and visions. Maweh, the Titan son of the angel Barakel, reports the first of these dreams with his fellow giants. He sees a tablet being immersed in water. When it emerges, all but 3 names have been washed away. The dream evidently symbolizes the destruction of all but Noah and his sons by the flood. 2Q26. They drenched the tablet in the waters went up over the tablet. They lifted up the tablet from the water. The giant goes to the others and they discuss the dream. 4Q 530, fragment 7. The vision is for cursing and sorrow. I am the one who confessed. The whole group of the castaways that shall go to the spirits of the slain, complaining about their their demise and crying out that we shall die together, be made of and end of, which much and I will be sleeping, and bread from my dwelling. The visions entered into the gathering of the giants. Q6, Q8. Ohia, and he said to Maweh, without trembling, who showed you all this vision, my brother? Barakel, my father, was with me before Maweh had finished telling what he had seen. Said to him, now I have heard wonders if a barren woman gives birth. 4Q 350, fragment 4:3. Thereupon Ohia said to Ahia to be destroyed from the earth, and the earth when they wept before the giants. 4Q 530 fragment 7.3. Your strength? Thereupon Ohia said to Ahia. Then he answered, It is not for us, but for Azael, for he did the children of angels or the giants, and they would not let their proved ones be neglected. We have not been cast down, you have strength. The giants realized the futility of fighting against the forces of heaven. The first speaker may be Gilgamesh. 4Q 531 fragment 1.3. I am a giant, and by the mighty strength of my arm and my own great strength, anyone mortal, and I have made war against them, but I am not able to stand against them, for my opponents reside in heaven, and they dwell in the holy places, and not they are stronger than I. Of the wild beasts has come, and the wild man they call me. Then Ohia said to him, I have been forced to have a dream, to sleep, the sleep of my eyes vanished, to let me see a vision. Now I know that on Gilgamesh. Ohia's dream vision is of a tree that is uprooted except for the three of its roots. The vision's import is the same as that of the first dream. 6Q8 fragment 2. Three of its roots, while was watching, there came. They moved the roots into this garden, all of them, and not. Ohia tries to avoid the implications of the visions. Above, he stated that it referred only to the demon Azazel. Here he suggests that the destruction is for the earthly rulers alone. 4Q 530 column 2 concerns the death of our souls and all his comrades, and Ohia told them what Gilgamesh said to him, and it was said concerning the leader has cursed the potentates, and the giants were glad at his words. Then he turned and left. More dreams afflicted the giants. The details of the vision are obscure, but it bodes ill for the giants, the Nephilim, the Anunnaki, that is. The dreamers speak first to the monsters and then to the giants. Thereupon two of them had dreams, and the sleep of their eyes fled from them, and they rose and came to and told their dreams, and said in the assembly of their comrades and monsters, In my dream I was watching this very night, and there was a garden, gardeners, and they were watering. 200 trees and large shoots came out of their root. All the water and the fire burnt all of the garden. They found the giants to tell them the dream. Some would suggest that Enoch be found to interpret the vision. To Enoch, the noted scribe, and he will interpret for us the dream. Thereupon his fellow Ohia declared and said to the giants, I too had a dream this night, O giants, and behold, the ruler of heaven came down to earth, and such is the end of the dream. Thereupon all the giants and monsters grew afraid and called Mahwe. He came to them, and the giants pleaded with them and sent him to Enoch. They said to him, Go to you that you have heard his voice, and he said to him, He will, and interpret the dream, how long the giants have to live. After a cosmic journey, Mahwe comes to Enoch and makes his request. He mounted up in the air like strong winds and flew with his hands like eagles. He left behind the inhabited world and passed over desolation, the great desert, and Enoch saw him and hailed him, and Mahwe said to him, Hither and thither a second time to Mahwe. The giants await your words, and all the monsters of the earth. If has been carried from the days of there, and they will be added, we would know from you their meaning. 200 trees that from heaven came down. Enoch sends back a tablet with its grim message of judgment, but with hope for repentance. 4Q53, fragment 2. The scribe Enoch, a copy of the second tablet that Enoch sent, in the very handwriting of Enoch, the noted scribe, in the name of God, the great and holy one, to Shemihaza and all his companions, let it be known to you that not, and the things you have done, and that your wives, they and their sons, and the wives of their sons, by your licentiousness on the earth, and there has been upon you, and the land is crying out, and complaining about you and the deeds of your children, the harm that you have done to it, until Raphael arrives. Raphael is one of the archangels. Until Raphael arrives, behold, destruction is coming, a great flood, and it will destroy all living things, and whatever is in the deserts and the seas, and the meaning of the matter upon you for evil, but now loosen the bonds binding you to evil and pray. A fragment apparently detailed the vision that Enoch saw. 4Q 531 fragment 7:3. And great fear seized me, and I fell on my face. I heard his voice. He dwelt among human beings, but he did not learn from them. This is from the Book of Giants by W.B. Henning, and it's on from Sacred Texts, Giants, and it's on Bennett Reality. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support.